Let's get this show on the road. Big Sills, National Football Show. Welcome to the start of official free agency day in the National Football League. 4 o'clock Eastern time is when the ball falls, and we'll know a little bit more, but it has been an absolutely incredible day today so far, even with the news we're hearing out of New York with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is prepared to play for the Jets. The holdup is the Packers. There's a lot of movement going on around the NFL, and most notably, especially with the Birds. Potentially, the Philadelphia Eagles could lose 7 players off their defense. Epps gone. Hargrave gone. I'm saying Fletcher Cox is gone. TJ Edwards gone. Slay will be released. We told you he was not going to redo his deal. We got some of the information on that too. And a little bit behind the scenes here on what the Eagles were trying to do with him. Kaiser White, gone. Gardner-Johnson, I don't know. I think it's 50-50. I do. I think it's the Eagles wanting him back is the only thing, in my opinion, keeping him in the conversation. But attaboys aren't going to cut it anymore. Hey, what did I tell you about that Rashad Penny deal? Look at the Philly media making that thing look like supposedly it's a good sign. It's a nothing sign. It's a nothing burger sign. He was a bomb failure in Seattle. He's had 11 starts, but yet people are trying to make that look like he couldn't beat a 6-rounder out. Anyway, we'll get to that again, and we'll do a little bit more on that. I want to give you a little bit of the details that went on in trying to work around and work with Darius Slay. And I told you this yesterday. Drew Rosenhaus was going to have none of this. They were going to have none of this. You were not going to be able to move him at his expense to a team that was not going to be a contender. Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey, his agent, felt it was in their client's best interest at 32 to kind of pull off a little bit of what James Bradbury did, albeit he's 32. He's not Bradbury's age. But if he's going to go somewhere, he's going to pick his destination with an opportunity to win ball games. I mean, so they were not going to restructure a contract so they could move him. And on top of that, they wanted him to take a pay cut. That was not going to happen. The Eagles wanted Darius Slay to take a pay cut, restructure his deal so they could move him. Drew Rosenhaus went like this. Fuck that. Not happening. That's why he's being released. So now over the next 2 years, the Eagles will have to defer that money out of $26 million against the cap. Once again, dead cap money on the Eagle cap. $26 million, 13 this year, 13 next year. They'll be able to defer it out because of the new collective bargaining agreement. They were not going to restructure the contract and take a pay cut. Not happening. Not happening. So now he gets to pick his destination. And with the market being what it is, Slay's not going to make $18 million, but he's not going to take that much of a haircut. So you let a Pro Bowl cornerback out of the building. You don't think that's going to be a loss? Now, again, if somebody told me, Sills, would you rather have Gardner-Johnson or Slay? I think Gardner-Johnson has a chance to be a superstar. And I think Slay has, again, see, to me, Slay being moved, I told you this 3 months ago. I don't have a problem with this. He's 32. Move him. Why? He still has value. But the Eagles would rather take the hit on the cap. And they only have 6 draft picks. I mean, they wanted him to take a pay cut, and they wanted him to restructure so that they could move him to a place like Houston. Drew Rosenhaus said absolutely not happening. That's why he's being cut. Okay? I love all the people. And by the way, weren't you Philly fans telling me that all these guys were going to take pay cuts? Not one guy is taking a pay cut to stay in Philadelphia. Not one player. They're all getting career contracts. And everyone keeps going, hey, well, maybe Jalen will take a hometown discount. Why? Not one of these guys are going to take a hometown discount. And by the way, I found out a little bit of that Rashad Penny deal. His base salary is 1.2. He's actually making $1 million less than what Miles Sanders was. It's a dollar store sign. And some would go like this, Sil, there's really no, like, damage if the guy doesn't really pan out. You're right. That's why it's a nothing burger sign. I saw Joe Banner talking shit that this is a typical dude, bringing in good players. Like when you brought Bradbury in, that was a great sign. He was a year removed from a Pro Bowl. This guy has never been a star in Seattle. But he is now. I get it. I guess you got to kiss Howie's ass to get in a NovaCare Center so you can get a key fob or something. I don't know. So again, I'll ask you this question and I'll make this statement that I made 2 days ago. It's a brand new defense. It's a brand new defense schematically. It's a brand new defense personnel-wise. You think you're a Super Bowl contender still. Sills, you haven't seen anything in free agency. Are you thinking that you're going to sign some gigantic player in free agency and bring him into Philly this year? You better pump the brakes on that. Let me tell you, and I'll give you this. The two best moves so far in Philadelphia has been the decision of Jason Kelce wanting to come back and play, and Bradbury's re-signing with the team and getting a new contract. That's good news. That's a good day. Losing 7 defensive. And again, Seth Joyner went on my Twitter page and said that it's not that much of a loss. Are you kidding me? Losing 7 off your 11 guys? And you're changing the scheme to a 34? Hey, no disrespect, but Seth, let me throw this at you. To run a 34, you have to have linebackers. They don't have one. They don't have one guy in the building to play a 34. Not one. Or, how about this? Not one that's proven anything. Now, I will say this about Bradbury, what's being reported. There were other deals out there that, according to some agents, that he could have grabbed, but they were lesser opportunities and lesser franchises. So let me pump the brakes on guys taking hometown discounts. Bradbury could have got a little more money somewhere else. I don't know where that is. Okay, I couldn't sit here and lie to you and tell you that I knew the teams that Bradbury had. I knew there were a bunch of them. So he did take a little less to come back and play in Philly. So I want to pump the brakes on that. Okay? There's no question. So I'll ask you again, as I did on March 13th. You really think the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender with no defense and a brand new defense? The number 2 ranked defense in the NFL is now officially gone. You sign Bradbury and you lose the other Pro Bowl corner. It's not quite a wash because I think Bradbury's better. Did you get better, though? You still lost a guy. And now, remember what I said? You now crawl into the well of unknown. Sills, we're going to draft Devon Witherspoon, albeit 100% behind it. You're still in the land of unknown. Whereas you had certainty with professional players and veterans. The Eagles' 2023 defense is the land of unknown. You're going to lose both your defensive tackles. You've lost both your linebackers. You've already lost one safety and one corner. Guys, what are you talking about? John goes, just wanted to wish you a great day, brother. I really enjoy listening to your football talk. Sports are a beautiful thing. John, it really is. I will say this to you, though, too, John and others. The one thing that keeps it in the room for the Eagles and keeps the balance sheet looking a little decent for them, even with all these exits. Now that Aaron Rodgers is out of the NFC. The NFC is weakened again, more so than the Eagles losing Darius Slay. Watch this. Darius Slay is not on the Eagles. Aaron Rodgers is not in the NFC. Boy, I'll tell you, the one thing in Green Bay is a big deal. That's a big deal. Jordan Love, good luck. That's the land of unknown, too. That's the land of unknown. They roll into the land of unknown. Get this. You want to know something that's crazy? The Philadelphia Eagles got more stability now at quarterback than what Green Bay has. And Green Bay had stability at the quarterback position for over 30 years. Over 30 years, they didn't have to worry about that position between Favre and Rodgers. Now, you're in the land of unknown. Good luck. You moved off a 4-time Super Bowl, a 4-time MVP for a dude you're not sure can play? Man, that is a nosedive into the unknown. So, did the Eagles, watch this, did the Eagles get better today? Some would go, Sills, they lost Darius Slay. I get it. But did the Eagles get better because Rodgers is not in the NFC? There's kind of a trade-off there with that. What I'm saying is it gives you more time to rebuild and retool. Because you're not in the AFC. AFC, that's where all the quarterbacks are now. Okay? Joseph goes, still the best offense in the NFC. Yeah. Yes. You may have one of the worst defenses. You probably will have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And that doesn't translate to playoffs. Football is the ultimate team sport. You just can't have a one-sided football team. And some of you will go, well, that's okay. Wait for Howie to do what? Get younger and cheaper. Because at the end of the day, there's still the hanging chad out there that you got to pay Hurts. I'll tell you this, if they didn't have to pay Hurts, I think they'd be really active in free agency like they were a year ago. They can't now. Shit, they're retooling guys, restructuring and trying to restructure guys. They're releasing and losing people to free agency. Completely a 360 from a year ago. Why? Because you got to sign the quarterback. No getting around it. This is what the collateral damage of signing a quarterback to a $50 million deal that I've been prepping you for 7 months. No matter how good the guy is. No matter how good he is. You will never have what you had in 22. A balance sheet that showed you a roster that could have been the best roster in the Super Bowl era in Philadelphia. You're never going to have that team again. You're not even going to be remotely close to it. The turnover now. So you think they're going to go into free agency with deals of C's and D's and the draft and have the second-ranked defense in the NFL? Who in their right mind would think that? This team is not a playoff team. You don't have a defense. You don't have a defense. And you got to pay your quarterback, who's not the guy in Kansas City. Hey, by the way, remember what I told you? The Philadelphia Eagles are either going to be the Cowboys or Kansas City. And what I mean by that is, you see what the Cowboys have to do today? Zeke Elliott is being released. So in the last couple of years, they've lost Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott, because they paid the quarterback and they don't win. The guy in Kansas City got $500 million and still wins Super Bowls. That's the difference. I don't believe Hurts can do it. I think he needs a complete team around him. Look at this. Look at the money, man. I guess I got to constantly just keep reminding myself. And by the way, I have no guest today. It's just you and me. The Patriots have just signed Juju Smith-Schuster to a 3-year, $33 million deal. That guy's getting $11 million a year. Wow. Now, they can do that. Why? Well, their quarterback's on a rookie contract. $11 million for a guy who was saved by Patrick Mahomes. Man. How are you going to replace this defense? How are you replacing it? I'll tell you what, before I continue to go on, you're not a playoff team. As of March 15th, even with a potential re-signing of Gardner-Johnson, you better pray you sign that guy. Okay, you're not a playoff team. And once again, I disagree with Seth. I don't think you can lose 7 starters and call yourself a playoff team. And then again, you tell me about Jordan Davis. I don't see it yet. Nakobe Dean, I don't see it yet. M. Reyes, NFC still hasn't proven they can stop our offense. Haas, I know that. But you have no defense to stop anybody. Anton, I've been thinking this since last week. Hey, Tone, can you give me Anton's again, please? I want to make sure I read it. I've been thinking this since last week. What did the Eagles pay McNabb? How did they rebuild the 2024 team around him? Give us a history lesson, Sills. Again, he wasn't one of the higher because you know why? Who were the big-time guys that you paid when it came to the rest of the team offensively? You paid T.O. for 1 year, and then the rest of them were dudes. Deshaun, okay? The money now takes up more of the cap. The escalated salary of the quarterback position has gone beyond the market. You're now into $50 million. The cap only went up $16 million. The salaries for the quarterbacks are going up from 38 to 45 to 50. They're actually outpacing the cap. That's the difference. The difference is the salary for the quarterback in the NFL is outpacing the increase in the cap. Very simple. Not hard to do the math. Big Seals, other than picking the Eagles, I'm sorry I missed that. Bears, if you think we aren't a playoff team in the NFC, whatever, guy. Bro, you don't have to be here. I do. Okay? How are you replacing? Let me just put it out here for you guys. Before I respond and tell you how I would try to replace this thing, okay? This defense couldn't. Your number 2 defense last year couldn't stop Dak. This thing here that you're going to put on the field as of March 15th, that could put 60 on you. Prescott will put 60 on you. How are you replacing this? Oh, and by the way, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, those guys better do something. Because last year, F. Steal of the draft. Couldn't get on the field with Kaiser White. You guys keep telling me, oh, I know now all of a sudden Kaiser White sucks, who just got a $5.5 million contract in Arizona. I know he sucks. And the guy who's now the head coach out there was his coordinator. How come he couldn't beat him out? If the guy sucks so bad, why couldn't he beat him out? Jordan Davis, once he got healthy and came back, couldn't beat two 36-year-old defensive tackles out. And he was the 13th pick? That's a joke. That's a joke. Impact. Where? Give me a break. Sills, looks like the kid from Georgia is starting to really fall. Dude, I'm telling you, if Jalen Carter's at 10, I'm not waiting a second. I am grabbing that guy and scooping that guy up as quick as I possibly can. If he hasn't killed anybody and he hasn't become a total tool, I am drafting him. Short of killing someone, I am drafting him. I am taking him. If you could put Michael Vick in your organization and tolerate Riley Cooper, Jalen Carter in a car wreck, unfortunately cost someone their life, which he wasn't driving, albeit, I get it, I don't care. I'm drafting him. Howie Roseman never built a dynasty here. Push the chips in for 1 year, and this is it. Now, you got a brand new team to build. This is a team sport. This is not 9-on-7. This is not 9-on-7. T goes, and Howie we trust. Hey, T, let me ask you something. Give me a grade on what you think Andre Dillard's career was in Philadelphia. He's a first-round pick with Howie. Tell me, what was his grade? From Stoutland University. What was his grade? What was his grade? Give me a grade. I'll tell you know what? I won't even comment. You tell me what you think Andre Dillard's career was in Philly. C+, F, D, 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 C. First round pick. Oh, Arthur goes, Dillard was insurance. So you wasted a first round pick on a seatbelt. Congratulations to you. It failed. It failed. And you went cheap on the back. Did you see? I told you this would happen. I told you this. They turned that Rashad Penny deal into some sort of like Walter Payton deal. I mean, tell me this. Tone, everyone, tell me something. If they thought that guy was so good, why did the Seahawks draft Kenneth Walker III from Michigan State a year ago if they thought this kid was so good? Once he got hurt, this guy finished second. And the rookie of the year offensively in the AFC. They looked at him and went, he's our guy. That guy, goodbye. If they thought that guy was so good, why'd they draft him in the second round? Come on. I've wasted more time on Rashad Penny on my show than I ever wanted to. Pump the brakes. CJ and Bradbury weren't even part of the team until like mid-June. You're way overreacting. Vet, we're talking about one or two dudes. You've lost 7 starters as of today. Until CJ checks his name off, he's on the land of non-Eagle. I think it's 50-50. The Dallas Cowboys, because they paid their quarterback, have officially cut Ezekiel Elliott. Bye. The collateral damage of signing a guy who failed when you signed those big contracts. Another one in the side of the sill stocking. When you sign these guys, hey, I said this yesterday about San Francisco. They can't figure out the quarterback, but they could surely figure out how to get to an NFC title game. Eagles pay your guy, you'll have more exits. Nobody in the NFL has 3 offensive linemen making $15 million and north of it. No one, except Philly. You better have the best O-line. You got 3 guys in that O-line making north of $15 million. You better be good. You got more money invested in your O-line and 3 dudes than what the entire defense has on the other side. No, I got it, Anton. I read it. Hard to take. And again, I disagree with Seth on this. 7 off your 11. It's a brand new team. How are you making the playoffs? Oh, we have Hurts. And? Do you know the pressure now that you put on him? Boy, don't get hurt, Jalen. Dual threat. Now you put more stress on dual threat. You better make sure you are we're trying to take that number down. Anton, please repost it then. I'll read it. Just okay. New defensive coaches. No, Aaron Rodgers announced, and I'll get to that. And I did. I actually watched it. My favorite part of that whole thing is that he took a shit on every single NFL media. It's the people that I fight all the time too, that immediately go on Twitter or go on social media platforms and rip me for some of my takes, or some of the people that talk to me because they get so panty bit and they get so much in a panty bind when I say something, they attack me. He told Adam Schefter, lose my number, dude. You don't know dick. He said Diane Rossini is a bull-faced liar. I've demanded nothing. The Packers are holding the deal up because you know why? Green Bay wants compensation. But the media, because they hated him for being a vaxxer and not getting vaccinated, are still taking it out on him. And so that's why now all the scumbag media people will all rally around one another, defend each other, and call Aaron names, when at the end of the day, they're all people who stood in the stands with a pad and piece of paper and were witnesses to guys like me. There. I said it. All the guys who hate all the guys who get the big jobs in the media, like Tom Brady, all those little guys take shots at people because you know why? That's all they'll ever be, is little guys. Okay? They all rally around their little guys and their minions. Did you see what he said about Mia Kimes? Did you see that? Whatever her name is, knows nothing. All the media guys. Oh, Aaron, this is Aaron. Yeah, like Aaron has say where he's going to go. He has some. It's the Jets. The Jets are the ones that made the call. Wasn't Rodgers? You think Rodgers picked the phone up and went, hey, I want to play in New York? Unbelievable. 7 players off your defense. Eagles today are not a playoff team. But hey, the draft will fix it. Bradbury, Witherspoon, CJ, and Maddox will be a great secondary. Slay is long in the tooth. Great move, in my opinion. Really. You think moving off a Pro Bowl? Hey, I think moving off $18 million is the right thing to do, Anton. But moving off a Pro Bowl talent, you think is easy, right? Not me, man. It's the talent that you're going to miss. I get the cap. You're right. Moving off Slay's financially the right thing to do. And you want to hear something else? Again, the Hargrave deal, I think San Francisco overpaid for him. I think watch this. I think he's a really good pass rusher. You could put him in a 3 or a 1 technique. I think he's good as a pass rusher, but as a run stopper, I don't know. C? B+ pass rusher? Is that $20 million? I don't think so. I could put that $20 million on a corner or an edge rusher. You know what I mean? Or spread it out. I don't know. To me, that's a little deep, and I'm not going to go into that pocket like that. I'm not going to go into that. So, Seth's talking to me on my Twitter too, blowing me up. $22 million, Yale. $22 million. Hey, Tone, do me a favor. Keep an eye on what Seth is saying on my Twitter page too. Just keep an eye on it because he's going back and forth with me as well because people are now reaching out to me because of what I said about Slay and his reluctant to redo his contract for the Eagles because he knew they wanted him they were going to move him. Remember I said this at the end of the show yesterday? Remember that, Tone, I said at the end of the show? The Eagles made it very clear who they wanted back. Gardner-Johnson and Bradbury. It wasn't Slay. They wanted him to take a pay cut, and they wanted him to redo his deal so they could move him for draft choices. Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey said, absolutely no way. Teams that are interested in him, Commanders, Cowboys, Falcons, Patriots. Slay's not going to get paid. He's 32. He may get a 2-year. Look, you know what you're starting to see a little bit in free agency as well? You're starting to see a lot of 2-year deals. You're not seeing teams wanting to get tied up because I think that's a little bit of Howie vision. Teams see what Howie did, 1-2-year deals. I think you're going to start seeing more of a trend of that. Instead of these 4 years or 5-year contracts, I don't think you're going to see that because you know why? The player doesn't even want it because they know it's monopoly money in the back end of the deal. It's the signing bonus. Me too. If I'm climbing over 27 years of age, I'm not signing a 4-year contract because the last 2 years of that contract, you can whack me and I get no money. Forget that. 2 years, guaranteed money. Let's go. Let's go. I think 2-year deals is something that has spawned and has been spawned by the guy in Philly. I do. I think Howie has a lot to do with that. But again, that means you have to have a cap guy, which he is, and a deal guy, which he is. It becomes more of an emphasis on free agency now, though. But again, you get your hands tied because your quarterback makes $50 million. He'd have more room, and I know Yale agrees with me on this. He'd have more latitude and more freedom to move if he didn't have to pay the quarterback $50 million. And as I said to you a couple minutes ago, I think Roseman would have been one of the preeminent free agent players if he didn't have to pay this dude. But now he's lost half his team. Now you're talking about losing half your team. Look at the team Hurts is coming back to. 50% of what that team was a year ago. You don't have the second-ranked defense. You don't even have the same defense. Shit, you don't even have the same coaches. You're in the land of unknown. 33%. This is what made what he did yesterday unprecedented, or last year, I should say, Howie Roseman. 33% of free agents, according to the National Football League, actually are an impact on teams. And what all those guys did last year in trades and free agency was unprecedented. You guys tried that with that superstar team with Chip Kelly, and it blew up. So you're 1 for 1. It did get you to a Super Bowl. Phenomenal. That team's not a Super Bowl team right now. Because you're just like every other. You're like Dallas right now. Difference is the Cowboys own you with Dak. Yale goes, he hit on all of them. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Kaiser White was good. You know how you know? This guy just signed a $5.5 million deal. Bradbury just signed a huge deal that he wanted in New York. He got his deal. CJ right now is negotiating with a bunch of teams, but he feels tied. Now, I'll get this. The new coordinator, I'm sure, is making a pitch. I think he's a potential star, Gardner-Johnson. I do. I think he's a potential star. Hard for me to say because he's a Gator, but whatever. Free agents get overpaid. Richie, I think that's the overstatement of the day or understatement of the day. Dude, the money that's being tossed around, Juju Smith-Schuster just got $11 million a year. What? My God almighty, what's Devontae Smith going to make? Devontae Smith, Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, I don't know. It's not close, right? So you're going to have two $25 million quarterbacks? Or wide receivers and a $50 million quarterback? Since when? Good luck with that thing. I saw Diggs redid his deal. That's how they're going to keep his ass. They had to redo his deal or he would have been cut too. $11 million tweets. I don't know, man. Guy trolls the Eagle guys, and I don't know. I guess he was good in the game. Lazard got $20 million guaranteed. I mean, really? Dude, Devontae Smith's going to make a king's ransom. Okay? Eagle goes, Sileo said nobody would take a Philly haircut at a hometown discount. Yeah, one guy did. The rest of them said, screw you. The rest of them said, forget it. And then you went cheap on the running back and you got a dime store dollar kid who's constantly broken down. That's what you did. You went and got a running back who's hurt more than Miles Sanders and less productive. This is a Howie move. How? Where do you see that? And Rashad Penny. 6.2, 11 starts in 5 years. And then they go out and draft a running back in the second round last year before he was hurt. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. They really had high expectations on Rashad Penny in Seattle. Yeah. Bradbury did have other offers. Javon didn't take no haircut. And the Eagles put a 3-year, $51 million deal on the table. You know what he said? I'm taking the $84 million 4-year deal with 60 guaranteed. TJ Edwards took no hometown discount. He's in Chicago. Epps is in. Where's Epps? Where's Epps? He's Chicago too? Wow. Now, here's something else to think. Okay? And I'm asking you one more time here, how are you replacing this defense? So, let's do this. Your new coordinator's believer in the 34. You understand that's 4 down, that's 3 linebackers, or 4 linebackers, and 3 D linemen. So you're going to put Jordan Davis at the nose, Sweat at one end. Good. Who's the other end? Because you're going to pay Reddick as an OLB in the 34. You're not playing him as a traditional end. He's too small. Who's playing the other end? Brandon Graham, 35? All right, that's not bad. So your D-line and your 34 is Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, and Jordan Davis. Now your 4 linebacker, Hassan Reddick, Nakobe Dean. Who are the other 2 guys? Who's the other guy? Who's the other 2? Who's the other 2 linebackers? Do you have them? Fletcher ain't coming back. Fletcher's going to make money in the open market. Oh, so you're going back into free agency? Bobby Wagner? Bobby Wagner is going to make some money. Who are at a 34 with Desai, your new coordinator? Who are your other 2 back? Are you going to draft them? Christian who? Draft. So you're going to draft, okay, Christian Ellis. and we'll just say a draft. Okay. Bradbury's now your corner 1. If you re-sign C.J. Gardner, are you moving him to corner? Are you moving him to corner? Or are you going to keep him? You lose Epps. I don't know. I might entertain moving him to corner. You had 3 Pro Bowlers in the secondary. Okay, so you're going to keep him. It's going to be Blankenship and him, right? Blankenship and CJ. And a rookie at corner. So here's your defense. Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat as your 3-down lineman. 35-year-old guy, you're going to count on now. Milton Williams could probably play a little end out there and give him some give him some rest. So I would probably do this, right? Milton Williams, Brandon Graham. I'm trying to get to what it's going to look like here. Kansas City did it. Yeah, they had Mahomes. Kansas City did it because they had Patrick Mahomes. You don't have Patrick Mahomes. So I'd say Brandon Graham and Milton Williams could be like, they could be your end over here on the right side. Fair enough? Jordan Davis at the nose. Okay? Josh Sweat, who I like a lot. Your other end. Derek Barr. Let's not get absurd. Your OLB is going to be Hassan Reddick, Nakobe Dean, Christian Ellis, a draft guy, 34. You need 4 backers. Or are you going to play a 50 front with 3 and... See, the one thing that the Eagles had defensively last year, they had versatility because they had so much depth. You don't have that any longer. By the way, are you going to bring Joseph or Sue back? Would you entertain bringing one of those guys back? Sue will probably be too expensive. Would you think about bringing Linville Joseph back? Hey, no. I'm working with you here. I'm trying to figure out the defense. Would you bring back one of those guys? I'm depending on what he wanted, I might think about bringing back one of them dudes. Right? So you're going to have to draft a backer, which they don't. This kid, Christian Ellis, is going to have to take the role of TJ Edwards. And Nakobe Dean is going to have to be another inside linebacker. Or do you put him outside on the other end? To me, he's a weak side linebacker. He ain't an inside backer. I think he's a weak side. He's a weak side guy. I'm not putting that guy in the middle. Guy get crushed. Especially if that nose isn't doing the job. You need to have a nose guard in there that is a baller. And I haven't seen the guy yet ball that you drafted 13th a year ago. Relative says, hey, Sills, how much of the Birds' defensive statistical success do you think was due to the offensive time of possession? That's a fabulous take. That's a fabulous take. A lot. And I get where you're going. You're correct. You're correct. Okay? You're correct. That's what's going to have to happen this coming season. So again, here's what your defense looks like as of March. Jeez, wait. We can't put Gardner-Johnson in there yet because you don't have him. Oh, whoa. He's not a safety yet. No. You don't get that. That's wishful thinking. He's not an Eagle yet. So you got Milton Williams and Brandon Graham at one end, Jordan Davis at nose, Josh Sweat at the other end. You got Hassan as an outside linebacker. By the way, you're going to play him on the strong side? Okay. So now he's got to take on tight ends because you got to play Dean on the weak side. He's too small to play inside. In a 34, he's taking guys like Landon Dickerson on. He's taking people that are huge human beings, and he's a little dude. You see, in a 40 front, you cover that guy up. In a 30 front, you don't. You've got to fill and be a guy who's a gap filler. If you're a little dude and you're taking on, he's a little guy. So I'm playing that guy on the weak side. You got to replace 2 inside linebackers. And you're saying this kid Christian Ellis can, and then you're going to have to draft another inside linebacker. Because you don't have a guy in the roster right now. One corner, you got Bradbury. The other corner, you don't have a guy. You got to draft a dude. Your safety, you have Blankenship as of right now. And you may have to draft another guy. You know what you may have to do at 10 and 31? You may have to draft a safety and a corner, depending on how today or maybe Thursday or Friday works out. Once again, I think CJ's a 50-50 deal. I think I would lean more towards he's coming back too. But that's a lot of money. But that's why Fletcher can't come back. He's at a 14-4 salary now. Assuming the Eagles, this is Tone, assuming the Eagles lose Gardner-Johnson and knowing what we know about the roster, what should be the on-field defensive philosophy in 2023? Stop the run, because they're going to attack it in the new scheme. And they know you don't have the same personnel as you did a year ago. What was the one thing that gave the Eagles the great autonomy on that side of the ball that they don't have as of March 15th? What was it? They could go to a 50 front. They could go to a 43. They could go to a 34. They could play a version of a 46. They could play a version of a wide 9. Why? Depth, talent, secondary play, linebackers, all of that were all hitting on sync. And their versatility. And it wasn't Gannon's scheme. It was the players. Fuel. Yeah, okay. So FanDuel has the Eagles as a top 5 Super Bowl team with no defense. A brand new defense. Stupid. Now, to my friend's comment that he paid $10 on, here's how you help your defense. There's going to have to be a lot of, to me, if I were the Eagles, I wouldn't want big play, big strike plays where I'm scoring on 1 or 2, 3 plays and getting up on a team. You're going to have to wear teams out. 10-play drives, 13-play drives. But what does that do? It puts more stress on your quarterback, because your quarterback is going to have to run the ball more, because you don't have a running game like you did a year ago. You think it's going to be that easy to replace 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns? Again, you're in the land of unknown. That's wishful thinking again. Gainwell in Boston and this guy Penny will take over for a guy who had 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. Really? And Jalen was still trending for 200 carries. You don't think that number is still going to continue to escalate? How do you not think that? He'll never play 17 games as a Philadelphia Eagle. He hasn't yet. He'll never. And now with more stress on him, the chances of that guy playing 17 games has even diminished even more so. 4,000 passing yards. Let's see if he makes it to 15 games. Let's see if he can get to 15 games. Lamar Jackson can't. Why? Oh, because he squad 6. Whatever. Stupid. Tyler goes, give Dean and Davis a chance. Well, they're going to get their chance. They're going to get. Oh, are you kidding me? Howie Roseman's drafting from last year and this year are coming front and center. And remember something. He has failed on 2 number 1 picks in the last 2 years by getting rid of Jalen Reagor and Andre Dillard. Those were 2 ones that bombed. But he's going to replace them. Okay. I mean, Nobody in Philly is bringing up another first-round failure by Roseman, and they're telling you that Penny's a great sign, but Dillard was a failure in Philly. Are you that afraid of that team as media members? Are you that afraid to open your mouths? Man, you have no balls. You have no balls. Dillard was a free agent, jackwagon. They just let him walk. You let a guy walk out the building you drafted in the first round, and you're losing Sayamalo. Nobody even remotely brought up, why not put Dillard at the right guard? Not even a conversation. Just let him walk out the building. And again, I'm with you, man. I hated his attitude too. The fact that he couldn't be flexible was totally shitty. I get it. And I agree. Okay? Still a bomb. And still a failure. Yelkos, I'm not sweating any of that. You're not sweating the fact that he failed on 2 first-round picks? Really? Okay. And all of a sudden now he's going to turn into Chuck Noll, right? Start drafting Hall of Famers? Is that right, Yale? He failed at a wide receiver and he failed at an O-lineman. And he actually failed at a quarterback in Carson Wentz. But hey, he'll get it right with 6 picks. And 7 guys to replace potentially on defense. Brian goes, everybody fails. Okay, true. Andre Dillard, Carson Wentz, Jalen Reagor. I mean, is Miles Sanders, was he a failure? Not saying Miles was a first rounder. He let Sanders walk, or didn't he give a shit? In my opinion, I think they're going to get Gardner-Johnson back. I do. That to me, you get him back, you're kind of in the room, but you still have so much to replace. Jets drafted Zach Wilson, the real. You're comparing yourself to the Jets now? The Jets suck. I mean, they have to go get a 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers. The Jets, please, if you're comparing organizations, don't let it be the Jets. Give me a franchise like Pittsburgh. No, Sills, I'm saying teams that I get it. But again, Howie Roseman's strengths. Dude, just go with me on his strengths. Howie's strengths are in deal making, restructuring of contracts, not personnel. And he's going to have to be, and by the way, I think he's pretty good on pro personnel. I don't think he's very good at college personnel. And I like his new philosophy. He's hanging out in the SEC, which he should. Hang out in the SEC, Ohio State, and Clemson. You're not going to go wrong there. At least your chances of going wrong are limited. That's what drafting is. When you draft a turd out of North Dakota State, you get Carson Wentz and Trey Lance. That's what you get. Because They're not only in the land of unknown, they're in the land of unknown and who you play unknown. 4 o'clock's coming. I can't wait because we're going to start hearing deals drop right now. I want to take a timeout. Hit the like button. Folks, free agency officially is underway. Does Gardner-Johnson come back to Philadelphia? Let's hit on that. Let's move forward here. It's only you and me today. One of the biggest days in the NFL. This is Christmas. Hour 2. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services. The first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Plan your day with confidence.
Keep the umbrellas on hand.
With Action News and AccuWeather.
Numerous tornadoes.
Your go-to team when severe weather strikes.
The water is still rising.
Keeping you prepared wherever you watch. Action News and AccuWeather. The team you trust.
Got some news for you here on Gardner-Johnson. Please hit the like button. Big Sills, thank you for coming aboard. Free agency is officially underway. It dropped during our show here, and we appreciate it. It's between the Broncos and the Eagles. Patrick Surtain and a bunch of the people are trying to recruit Gardner-Johnson to the Broncos. It's Broncos and Eagles. And it looks like the Broncos have offered more money. And the Eagles are still in it. So it's Broncos and it's Eagles. Last year, their defense was pretty good. Can you imagine Gardner-Johnson back there with Patrick Surtain too? Whew. I mean, so it's between those two teams there. So we shall see what happens here. Gardner-Johnson obviously is going to have, I was thinking potentially you could see Cincinnati doing something. But Cincinnati, I mean, when does Mike Brown ever sit there and when does Cincinnati ever pay anybody? And they got to pay their quarterback too. So they're in a financial situation here. Okay, so again, Broncos and Eagles. Those are the two teams that are, what I'm hearing, are battling it out for CJ and Gardner-Johnson. So we'll keep you updated on that. Real. I heard Bengals, but I heard Bengals, but Duke Tobin, they just don't open up the purse strings enough. Okay? They just don't open up the purse strings enough. So, yeah, and from what I'm hearing with Darius Slay, God, we got a ton of stuff there. We haven't even hit on the Rodgers stuff yet. So, as we said, we looked at the new defense that's going to come back in 2022. Who's replacing Bates? Yale. I think they're going to draft a guy. I mean, Bates is going to get that contract in Atlanta. Slay talking to Arizona, the Cowboys. I got to tell you something about, from what I'm understanding, do you want to hear what Dan Quinn's thinking in Dallas? I'm very close with the people in Dallas. They're talking of putting like Slay in a position where he would play in a safety role and move him. I don't know why more teams don't do that. Once you get a little long in the tooth, and I'm not saying that Slay's a hitter, and you got to be kind of a hitter and a physical guy back there because you're taking on bigger people. I'm not saying that works. But I've always been a fan of moving guys like Rod Woodson over from corner to safety position and try to get more years out of the guy like they did also with Ronnie Lott. I'm a fan of that. Okay? I'm a fan of that. And I agree, Eagle fan. I'm not saying that he'd be a guy that I would try to, but Dan Quinn's a pretty good defensive-minded guy. Remember, he was the architect of that Seattle defense up there. Now, look, all those guys, Cam Chancellor, all them dudes in the secondary, they were all hitters. I get it, and I'm with you. They were all hitters. They were all hitters. Slay's not a hitter. Okay? And look, just to go back, Darius Slay, once again, the Eagles wanted him to take a pay cut, and they wanted him to restructure his deal so they could move him. And Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey, his agent, said absolutely not. So the Eagles are forced in a position to release him. You want to hear something else that's crazy going on? Hey, Tone, you want to hear something nuts? So right now, as we speak, Lamar Jackson can negotiate with any team he wants. Now, he's a restricted free agent. They put that tag on him. That means that the Ravens will get 2 number ones if you do make that deal for him. But he can talk to any team he wants. Washington. He can go anywhere. Lamar Jackson can talk to the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson can talk to the 49ers. I mean, why wouldn't you package up Trey Lance and send his ass to Baltimore? It's almost the same guy. If you're the 49ers and you're John Lynch, why wouldn't you do this? I'll tell you what, I'll send you Trey Lance, and I'll tell you this. I'll send you Trey Lance, 2 ones for him, and I'll take Lamar. And then you pay him 50. Then again, it kind of impacts Nick Bosa, though, a little bit. Can't pay him because you got to pay all the rest of them. I agree. I think that's probably not happening because you got too many stars on that team. The same situation that the Eagles are in right now. Raiders, GT. How about this? Jets. Who would you rather have, Aaron Rodgers or a 25-year-old Lamar Jackson? I don't know. You know, you give me a 25-year-old MVP, right? Give me a 25-year-old MVP. You know what's funny? And N91 goes, Lamar botched his own dude, no way. I'm rooting for him. In a land where NFL contracts are not guaranteed and no players had really any guaranteed contracts, it said the guy in Cleveland, you should be rooting for him instead of those scumbag media people that constantly are taking shots at him. And I'm talking to Sean Watson for getting a guaranteed contract. What's wrong with you people? The NFL has gotten away with it for 100 years of not guaranteeing money. How would you like to go to work? You sign a contract with your boss, but he can fire you at any time, and you sign a 5-year deal, and he blows you out, and the only thing you get is your last paycheck. Would you like that? You sign a deal with your guy, good faith, 5-year contract, all guaranteed. What happens? Guy fires you 18 months and gives you one paycheck, and you're out the door. That's what the NFL has done for 100 years. You should be rooting Lamar Jackson on instead of vilifying him. You should be rooting him on. I mean, you look at guys like Ben Simmons, who gets a fully guaranteed contract in Philadelphia with the Sixers, and he sucked and he hated the place he worked at, but it must have killed Philly fans that you had to pay him $25 million a year and he hated you. You couldn't do anything about it. Should be rooting that guy on. Hey, if I was Lamar Jackson, I'd want to go to the NFC. How about if this, too? What if Dallas makes a play for him? I'll give you Dak for him, and I'll give you 2 ones. I'd do it. Cowboys are in cap hell, though. But then again, you're kind of moving contracts. Same way they move Golf and Stafford. I can't believe Lamar Jackson's on the open market. Good for him. Finally, a player has leverage. I'm rooting this on. I'm not vilifying it. Way to go. Finally, owners are held to and put their feet to the fire. Way to go, dude. I know you don't get that anywhere else because you know what you get? You get the people that were sitting in the stands again with the piece of paper and the pencil, taking shits on guys and players who are actually out there putting their hearts and souls into something. Guys like Shannon Sharp should be rooting Lamar Jackson on instead of sitting there going, well, you know, he's never going to get the deal that the guy in Cleveland got. You should be hoping for more of those deals, not less. I mean, right? Why are you rooting for the media guys to vilify? Has Lamar done anything wrong publicly? You know, the whole thing in the contract, maybe not playing in the postseason. Yeah, I got an ass with that. Okay, I get it. I'm with you on it. Seriously, though, that's a business deal. He's been a model citizen. That's a guy you want as the face of your franchise. That's a guy who plays hard every down. That's a guy you want to represent you. Be cooler, but they can't. Because what they do is to portray you as a money-grubbing athlete who has no brains. And get this. So what he wants to do his own contract. Well, you need an agent. No, you don't. If you know what you want in life, do you need to have somebody telling you what to do? GB can actually pull that off if they get 2 ones from New York. Green Bay is holding the deal up on Rodgers right now. They're the ones. I was listening to Aaron Rodgers today. He goes, it ain't me. I've already decided I'm playing for the Jets. If they want me, I'm playing there. Green Bay doesn't want me. See, Green Bay tried vilifying Aaron Rodgers to the fan base. That's what all organizations do. The Eagles are just the same. Okay? And that's why they put certain media people in their back pocket. So they'll come out and give some sort of like rose-petaled like take on Rashad Penny, who was a failure first-round pick. And all of a sudden they turn this guy into Adrian Peterson. Give me a break. Guy's been a massive failure. Hence, that's why Kenneth Walker out of Michigan State was drafted in the second round a year ago. They didn't think shit of him. They knew he was always hurt. 11 starts in 5 years. But now he lands in Philly. The Inquirer and everyone else around the park looks at this as a great move. It's a nothing burger. I could see it. Zeke Elliott, I wouldn't give Zeke Elliott any money. Hey, I can't wait to see what the Giants, Saquon Barkley's now a free agent. As of right now, Saquon Barkley, 16 minutes into this, is a free agent. Holy shit. You better hope that guy don't land in Kansas City or Buffalo. I mean, this guy's going to have a lot of takers. Did they tag him today? Tagging a running back. $10 million bucks? Okay, he got tagged. Man, $10 million, $35 for the quarterback. Have they signed that deal yet in New York with Daniel? I think they did. So $45 million for the quarterback and the running back. Okay, but now they need some wideouts. They got the kid Waller. That's a good point. Let's go into the NFC East. Where do you think the Eagles are in the NFC East right now? Where do you think they are? Where do you think they are? Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys. Where do you think they are? Do the Eagles have the best offense in the division? Yes. Do the Eagles have the best defense? They're not better than the Commanders. They're not better than the Cowboys. They're probably as good as the Giants. So, I mean, who's the more balanced team in the NFC East? Cowboys. Quarterback. They got Pollard. O-line's decent. They put 40 on you last year. On a second-rate defense, not this thing that you have here, this makeshift defense. This pennies from heaven defense. I mean, that defense right there compared to what you had a year ago in talent, night and day. Hey, even if you address it in the draft, you don't know what that kid's going to do. You're hoping that he's Sauce Gardner. Steve goes like this. I'm hearing that they've agreed in principle, but not official yet. No, official is 4:00. That's why they're negotiating between the Broncos and Eagles. And I'm with you, Steve-O. I think there's a great chance he comes back. The Eagles do not have the best overall team in the division. Not close. Not close. Not close. Waller is a pickup, and I agree with Tone on this. Dude, he is a large human being. Large human being. Got to be healthy, though. Very productive. Couple 1,000-yard seasons when he was with the Raiders, but to me, he's got to be healthy. Health has been his issue. Okay, so the Giants clearly got better at that position, but you got to kind of hold your fingers and cross your fingers that the guy's going to be healthy. Dean will shut down Waller. Well, Dean better get off the special teams first before he starts talking about a Pro Bowl tight end. Dean's going to shut down a Pro Bowl tight end when he couldn't get off the punt return team. Okay. Yeah, classic right there. Classic right there. Okay? Classic. Dine's got 4 years, 600. That's crazy. You got to get off the punt return team before you can start talking to me about covering all pro tight ends. I mean, right? Hey, did you see Dean on the kickoff coverage, man? That guy's going to be a hell of a linebacker that's going to cover tight ends. You wait and see. Okay, I will. Dean's undersized. We gave that away. So look, I would still rank the Eagles number one. You know why? Because I think their offense is more dominant. And dominant enough to carry the team. The Commanders are going to, I don't know about you, Tone, but to me, I think the Commanders are going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on. If they get any quarterback play, that team could win the division. That team could win the division. Okay? I mean, they've got some good football players. And if they can the quarterback gives them any kind of decent play, they could be pretty good. Marshall goes, Howie better not let us get outbid by Walmart. Marshall. Hey, wait a minute, Marshall. I have to admit, though, man, Walmart does have more money than the owner of the Eagles, man. He's got more money. Okay? He's got more money. Jalen can outscore anyone except Kansas City. Commander signing JAKIB Brissett. That's a good take, too. Let's throw this. What are they doing at backup quarterback? Because you're going to need one. JAKIB Brissett just went to. Watch this. So JAKIB Brissett just went to Washington. Let me throw this at you here. JAKIB Brissett, Sam Howell, Tyler Heineke. I mean, is there a quarterback between the three of them? Hey, can you kind of put them all three together? Judge, hey, I mean, Tyler Heineke, is Wentz still there, or did they release his ass? I don't remember because I'm not in the Carson Wentz business anymore. Oh, Heineke just signed that contract. That's right, with Atlanta. That's right. He just signed with Atlanta. Good job, guys. That's right. That's right. Tank 23 goes Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Commanders. No, I think it's Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys. I think the Cowboys finished last place, in my opinion. Yeah, that's right. Wentz got released. So what are you doing at backup? You drafting a guy? Got to draft a guy like Tony Dungy said that resembles a little bit about. So probably drafting a guy because they got to get cheaper there. Probably. Okay. We destroyed Brock Purdy says that Dak is trash unless he plays the Eagles. Then he owns you. Dan, who are your top 5 defenses in the NFL? I'll have to get 49ers right now are number 1. Broncos are going to be in that conversation too. I can't wait to see what CJ's doing here. Got to be some really heavy negotiations going on for this guy. Okay? got to be some heavy negotiations. He has to have a lot of people on him right now. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think the longer this goes on, it favors the Eagles? They took care of Bradbury right away. Now, if you're CJ Gardner-Johnson, don't you go like this? Oh, man, why didn't they take care of me first? Why was their priority Bradbury? You see, other teams like the Broncos are making him their number one priority. That goes a long way, too. You know, when teams want you like that and they're courting you, hey, they took care of Bradbury first. And they didn't take care of you. They could tell you all you want, what you want to hear. They just gave that guy $14 million. And they coming in offering you 12. But you don't think negotiations that other teams are having with the kid, they're not saying that to him? It's like recruiting. You lie all the time to them. Or you tell them what they want to hear. Hey, Bradbury was their number one guy, not you. We're offering you $14.5 million, top market value. We're going to build our defense around you. You and Patrick Surtain are going to be our guy. You're going to be our, I don't care what you say, 85. Number one priority was not Gardner-Johnson. The number one priority was Bradbury and moving Slay. And then Gardner-Johnson. That's how they acted. You could say all the shit you want. That's not what they did. Facts. I don't know. T. Washington, I didn't say that. I think it's a coin toss. Now, like I said, now how about this? Someone just brought a good point up. Cody, if you're Jalen, do you wait till next year to do your deal? Do you wait till the season starts? With a handshake and an understanding that we have an agreement in the parameters of an agreement so that you can kind of work some magic here? Because Jalen's got to look at this going, man, a lot of pressure on our offense now to win. Again, you guys may be right. The Eagles may be the best team defensively in the NFL. But you don't know that yet. Last year, you knew it with what you had until March 15th, when all those players officially are no longer on your team. If you're Hurts, do you go and work with the organization? Not saying you're taking haircuts, but don't you go like this? Hey, let's get the team done. And then you come back to me. We got plenty of time here. There's no rush here. Yeah, but I need to know. Well, we're going to be in the $50 million room. Okay. Don't you think the Eagles and Jalen Hurts have a number figured out? Would you guys agree with me? I'll say this to you. Tone, I don't know if you agree with this. You know, I have to think that they have a number worked out. They have a number worked out. Because Howie can't go into this retooling and rebuilding. Well, they're not having a notion of where Clutch and Jalen are. Don't you think? I agree with you guys. I think they got a kind of a number. And they've got it kind of like a gentleman's agreement on it. You know, I do not believe that Jeffrey Lurie, because he's publicly come out going, he doesn't have to do anything else, man. So to me, that's a little bit of latitude. If I was the player in the building, I'd go, all right, well, let's have the general manager and I have a conversation. Let's go to lunch. And we sit there, and I got my agent with me, kind of informal, and you go, look, it's going to be around 50. Daniel Dimes, nobody. Got that money? Come on. Really? Seriously. And you go, yeah, okay, well, let me do this. Let me get through free agency first, and then we'll address okay? Okay? So I think that they probably agreed. Savvy goes, after CJ signed, we may hear more about Jalen. Now, wait a minute, though. Savvy, how do you know they didn't? See, you guys are missing this, though. Jeffrey, all of you guys, you're missing this. How do you know they didn't get rid of Slay to pay Jalen? Why are you guys assuming it's for CJ Gardner-Johnson? Why are you assuming that? I saw everybody on the internet going like this. Hey, now that Slay's not here, we can go after CJ. Well, how do you know they didn't do that to make more room for Jalen's contract? You know, it's a $26 million cap hit that they're going to defer out over the next 2 years after June 1st. Well, Jalen's contract won't kick in until next year anyway. So how do you know it wasn't for him? Why are you under the assumption it's for Gardner-Johnson? I happen to think it's more for him, but you have to put that in the back of your mind. Why do you always have to put that? Because you got to put that $50 million nugget back there. That's why I said on Monday to you guys, and I'll hold to this, this is going to be one of the biggest weeks in Howie Roseman's career, okay, on how he's going to keep as much. His objective must have been to keep as much as this team as he can together. Now, let's take a look at another angle in this whole thing in free agency, which has started now. It's 32 minutes in, and we haven't heard anything out of Gardner-Johnson yet. And I told you, Broncos, Eagles, from what I'm hearing, is the negotiations going on between those two teams. There could be a third and fourth team. I don't know the other two, but I do know the Broncos. Okay? Let's do this. Remember what I told you on how you build a championship football team. You build a championship football team winning your division first and drafting and signing against your opponents inside your division. Did the Giants get better? Have the Giants gotten better? Scale of 1 to 10? $20 better? Right? 20% better? Okay? Maybe. Again, there's a lot of unknowns on Waller's health. Commanders, the pain sign. Jacoby Brissett, I don't know. I mean, kind of. As of right now, 10%. Right? The Cowboys, Stephon Gilmore. You lose Zeke. That's not a big deal to me. The signing of Gilmore is more of a deal to me than Zeke being cut. Zeke is a nothing burger anymore. Do you know what Ezekiel Elliott reminds me of now? Todd Gurley. He's just a dude. He's Todd Gurley. So the Cowboys, they probably got better because it's more carries for Pollard. Okay, probably more carries for him. The Cowboys are interested in Odell Beckham, DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know where they're going to get the money to sign him. Right? $85 brings up a great point. Eagles have 10 days to pick up options for A.J. Brown and Hassan Reddick. If exercised, would save around $25 million in cap space, not to mention Lane's restructure. Yeah, but again, 85, that's not for Gardner-Johnson. That would be for Jalen Hurts. What's more of a priority right now? Freeing up money to sign your guy, Jalen Hurts? Or Gardner-Johnson? What's the priority right now? I'll ask you guys that. What's the priority? Freeing money up to sign Gardner-Johnson? Or making cap space for Hurts? That's right. Yale's right. The money's for Hurts. It's not for Gardner-Johnson. It's for Hurts. The quarterback's the priority, isn't it? CJ right now don't work that way, vet. It doesn't work that way. Because you've got to put a signing bonus together. Let's just put it to you this way. If they sign Jalen Hurts to a $250 million deal, over half of that will be guaranteed. Okay, you're talking about $135, $45 million in guarantees. Gardner-Johnson, what? Polly goes, stay hating. No, you got to make it. See, what Polly doesn't get is you got to make one choice or the other. You can't do both. She thinks it's a or he thinks it's a monopoly game. It ain't. This comes down to priority. The quarterback is always going to be the main priority here. That's why you go shopping at the dollar store for Rashad Penny. They saved $1 million on that deal. You know that? Instead of paying Miles Sanders $2.5 million, they're now paying to do 1.3. So they saved about $1 million on that deal. That's right. This is a salary cap league. You know, you've got to, it's like a NASCAR race. You get a certain amount of gasoline to go 500 miles. And if you run out of gas, you're out of the race. That's what this is too. The key is having gas for the last 2 laps. That's what working in a salary cap world is. Without the Birds' offensive line, Hurts is average. Probably true. I wouldn't say average. I wouldn't use the word average on Jalen. Look, he's an exceptional player. Elite, not. Because he's not going to do what the guy does in Kansas City. Like Jalen Hurts with this football team that they have right now, even if Gardner-Johnson comes back, he's not winning 14 games with that team. Not happening. That team will be torched on defense. You think you had problems stopping a run? You wait till you get a load of them. That 34 they're going to run with Davis at the nose. I'll show you what they're going to do. They'll blow that defense up. And your safety play? Okay, if Gardner-Johnson's back there, okay, Blankenship and him, that's not bad. You got a rookie corner. You're going to probably have 2 rookie linebackers. Got to get some depth in your line, unless you're going to bring Sue and Linville Joseph back. Yale says they'll put up points. Probably. I would say that the Eagles, for them to win 12 games this year, are going to have to average around 35 points. North of 35. And hope that defense doesn't give up 27 points, 28. That team right there, that defensive team, you're hoping that they give up less than 25 points, 26 points. You're hoping for that. Okay? You're hoping for that. Okay? You're hoping that they give up less than 27. If you give up less than 27 and you're scoring 35, then you got to go with turnovers and time of possession. And somebody brought a great point up about last year's defense. Did last year's defense, Were they the benefactor of the long plays and the sustained drives that they put together a year? Yes, they were. Yes, they were. They were a benefactor of that offense. They were a benefactor. Now, I thought the defense, especially towards the postseason, I thought they started playing. The Giant game, they were really good. 49er game, they wrecked the game. They wrecked the game. Hassan Reddick ruined any chance for the 49ers in that ball game. Seals, you love negativity, and I don't want to hear. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not negative. I'm keeping it real. What you don't like is reality. I'm talking reality here. Boy, I'm pretty shocked about your market. Nobody talks to you in truths. Talk to you in bullshit flag waving. It's crazy. The reason I talk about the birds is because they're polarizing and it's phenomenal content. What in your wildest imagination would you ever hope that I hope they suck? Why? So you don't have to have passion about your team and cover the union? People are out of their minds. Well, he hates the Eagles. And I talk about them because I like them. When you don't, like, Rashad Penny is a nothing burger. You don't talk about shit like that. Jalen Hurts, his story, Howie rebuilding, retooling. A Super Bowl team that was built on 18 free agents and one-year deals. What are they doing with Gardner-Johnson? Slay released. I don't know about you, but that's pretty good content. How would you like to cover the Jets? Well, hey, right now, Aaron Rodgers, look what the Aaron Rodgers has done for the Jets. It's the first time anyone's talking about the Jets since Joe Namath. Oh, wait. Sexy Rexy's tattoo. Okay? Sexy Rexy's tattoo and Joe Namath. Are you kidding? Sills hopes that the Eagles have failed. Are you nuts? Okay? You don't cover things that blow. Nobody cares about shit. Do you like bad sandwiches? How many times do you walk into a bad sandwich shop? Hey, give me the bad sandwich again for the 10th day in a row. I'm out. You know, I discovered Jersey Mike's. I'm in. Yeah. A little one goes like this. We're F this year, Big Sills. Little one, I'll tell you this. If you were in the AFC, it'd be a tough. It would be a tough road to get back to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, once again, hey, you don't want to know with one of the surprise teams that I think are going to be? The Lions. But they're the land of unknown too. Look at all the unknowns in the NFC. The Eagles are an unknown. And the only thing the Eagles have, watch this, is the fact that Jalen Hurts is continuing to get better. And they haven't lost. I'll tell you this. It was clearly a priority on that side of the ball to make sure that you're not going to lose too many dudes. The problem that you have, you're losing an all-pro guard and you're losing an all-pro running back. That's a problem. Okay? That's a problem. Lions, unknown. What's this? Hey, I'm going to hate to say this because you guys were right. I was wrong. Here, watch this. I can't bring up the Vikings and not start laughing. I can't bring up the Vikings and start. But watch this. The Vikings, Okay. They just signed a guy. Did they get the kid Davenport? Did they get the kid Davenport? The Vikings, 49ers. Every one of these teams has a question mark. Right? I've watched every Eagle game since 65. This was the best roster ever. And Gannon wasted it. Oh, Marina, you had it right there. How much do they pay Jefferson? I'm hearing $30 million. Hey, Charlie. You know what Charlie goes, they melted like ice cream in July. I thought it got colder up in Minnesota as you got closer towards December and shit. As a matter of fact, I know because I've played up there. They were supposed to be getting hotter. Their city and their team got colder. Yeah, Mojo goes like this. The Niners have no quarterback, and yet they've been to 3 NFC title games in the last 5 years. I know, but they still keep getting there. You keep saying that, but the reason they have the best roster, the 49ers have the best roster in the NFL right now. They have the best roster. Best roster. They have a superstar wideout, superstar tight end, superstar running back, superstar offensive tackle, superstar edge rusher. They've got a really good D tackle now. They've got a superstar linebacker. They've got a superstar safety. Superstar? Eagles have A.J. Brown, superstars, Kelsey and Lane, Jalen. Bradbury, a superstar? I don't know. He's awful good, though. Brian, yeah, and Brian, you're right. Brian, you're right. You got a phenomenal team with no head on it. Devontae, yeah, Goddard's a superstar. Goddard's a superstar. He is. I saw somebody bringing up that Waller is one of the better tight ends in the NFL. No, it was Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp goes like this. Yeah, the guy in Baltimore, Kittle, Kelsey, and Waller. He didn't bring up Goddard. And I was like, wow. So Shannon Sharp doesn't think Goddard's a star. I thought that, I don't know, I really like Dallas Goedert. I'm a fan of Dallas Goedert. I am. Okay? I am. 85. I know. You know, I know. Let me say something about the Aaron Rodgers move. It affects the Eagles. Got one less dude to have to worry about in that conference. You think the Packers are going anywhere with Jordan Love? Wow. Talk about the land of unknown. Talk about the land of unknown. I mean, can you imagine that they just went like this? Okay. But you know what? You got to say something about Green Bay. And here it goes. They are terrible. How do you guys feel that the Eagles are when it comes to players like Fletcher Cox? Who's the offensive tackle that's now in Dallas? What's his name? And guys that leave and go places, and you know, guys that were really good mainstays. How do you think the Eagles deal with players when they leave the building? How do you think they are here? Jason Peters, thank you, Tone. How do you think they handle that when a guy leaves? TJ Edwards, these guys, how do you think they wish them well? Do you think they're good? Right? You think they're good in how they handle it? Green Bay's terrible. Clay Matthews, AJ Hawk, Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they have no professionalism to them. Okay? And I'm not giving Aaron Rodgers a hall pass because he's a Fruit Loop too. Okay? He is. I do, man. I think the Eagles do a really nice job, man, at guys that put their time in. And if they want to leave and go somewhere else, and look, watch this. I think they're going to have nothing but the most respect in the planet for Fletcher Cox. If Fletcher wants to go somewhere else and maybe try to chase a ring somewhere else, making more money, I think the Eagles are going to go, more power to you. He'll be welcome back. I think they were going to say this to Brandon Graham if Brandon Graham had signed that contract with the Cleveland Browns. He knew Andrew Berry was there. He knew Andrew Berry was a former Eagle executive. I think those guys would have been like this. Hey, man, if you're going to make more money and you want to go play there and you want to play in that situation, you go right ahead. He'd have been welcomed back. Okay, he'd have welcomed them all back, right? I think Green Bay handles their guys like shit. Another example of a guy walking out the door. And Rodgers today, I heard him. He was with Pat McAfee. He goes, I went into this seclusion thing. I was thinking about what I wanted to do, whether if I was going to play. He goes, my notion was I was going to play in Green Bay and nowhere else. All of a sudden, when I stopped, I started seeing all these text messages that Green Bay, and then all of a sudden I started hearing Green Bay wanted to move on. I didn't want to move on, but now I've accepted the fact, and I'm really horribly hurt that we're moving on. Okay, well, now I want to play for the Jets. It's the Packers holding him up. But you see, you don't get that narrative because the media is not going to cover that, because you know why? They're going to – certain people like LeBron James and Aaron Rodgers and guys are used as a whipping post. Russell Westbrook. All those legendary players are used as whipping post. Like, how, you know what? I don't like LeBron James's politics, but how could you rip the guy's career? Honestly, how can you rip LeBron's career? You can't. It's impossible. He's never been in trouble. He's never done anything wrong. Is he a diva? Who cares? Is he win? He's got 4 NBA titles, 3 with 3 different teams. How do you shit on that? I can't. But people do. You can't rip LeBron. You can't rip Brady. You can't rip Rodgers. These guys are first ballot Hall of Famers, but yet people do. And it's because they just you pick on people that are relevant. You don't pick on people that are not relevant. So you've got to make a crazy narrative on them. Okay? You got to make this crazy narrative. LeBron is just not a clutch guy. He only cares about himself. That's so dumb. Brian's right. Brian, you can rip anybody. But Brian, I'd like to have a little bit of an opinion and some facts. This is why you guys always say this to me. You're right, Yale, it's sports. People always say this to me, big sales. Man, you changed your opinion. I changed my opinion because the player changed his game. Why wouldn't you change your opinion? If a player like Jalen Hurts doesn't play as great as he did in his second year, in his first year, and he has a horrible playoff game against the Bucs, and the guy gets better, how don't you change your opinion on him? That's not flip-flopping. That's the player getting better. Isn't that common sense? And isn't that reality? It's not flip-flopping. Sills, you said Hassan Reddick sucked. I did, because in the first 6 games, he stunk. Then they figured it out. He elevated his game. He got better. I'm supposed to say he still sucked? I've never subscribed to that. That's old fart sports talk. Guys that get entrenched in takes and stay there forever. Like Bayless. Tune on one day. Do me a favor. Tune on Undisputed. Here's their show. You want me to map out tomorrow's show? Watch this, Yale. Here's tomorrow's Undisputed. Ripping on Russell Westbrook. ripping on the Lakers, Aaron Rodgers, the Cowboys. There's your show. It's like clockwork. People go, why do you talk about Hurts? Hurts is getting better. Hurts is going to get $50 million. My aunt asks me this all the time. She goes, Hurts. I go, quarterback's the most important position on any football team. The Eagles got embarrassed by Carson Wentz. They're hoping that Hurts erases all of that. Get this, they want him to succeed in Philly. The fan base wants him. So I cover him. So what do you think I'm going to do if I was covering the Jets? Covered Lazard or Aaron Rodgers? Use your brain sometimes. Not you guys, because you guys get me. But if you tune on a sports talk station in Philadelphia, you got these old guys talking, well, I said that this guy here, and they'll still hold to him sucking, and he doesn't. Jalen Hurts went from being a marginal football player who struggled at finding open people, Troy Aikman said it in the playoff game, to a guy who has two 1,000-yard receivers because of his play and created a system in Philadelphia that he is the system. Jalen Hurts is not a product of some system. He is the system. He is the system. Kadeem goes, why don't people like Carson Wentz? Kadeem, I'll tell you easily. You ever been in a room where a guy likes half the room and doesn't acknowledge the other half? And you have to rely on that other half of the room just as you do the one half of the room to be successful? I mean, Jalen Hurts connects with every human being in that locker room, like Tom Brady did. You could be a cornerback. What was the first thing Tom Brady did when he got to Tampa? He got the roster from Jason Light, the general manager, of every guy with their phone number. You know what he did? He called every one of them and said, thanks for welcoming me in here, man. I hope we have a really great opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And he did. But he connected with every guy in the locker room. It wasn't just 53, it was 85. Hurts is that guy. I'll tell you what Howard Eskin said to me on this program, and I disagreed with him 1,000%. He said that he always questioned Jalen Hurts' commitment to success. He'll lie to you and say he didn't say it. I have it. Because he transferred. And I said this to him. I go, actually, I thought he was a better teammate. And to me, I had more respect as a guy who played the game for a guy sticking it out, getting his degree, being a great teammate, and then getting his opportunity like Russell Wilson did when he went to Wisconsin. He went to Oklahoma and was a runner-up to the Heisman. I had more respect for Hurts after that because Hurts was a great teammate to Tua Tagovailoa. To me, I got more respect. A guy like Howard Eskin lost respect for him. I was like, man, I don't see it that way. I didn't see it that way. How many people do you see when you get a guy like a quarterback who was a Southeastern Conference Player of the Year get his job taken away from him? Okay? Getting his job taken away from him, and he turns into a shitty teammate. That wasn't Hurts. That wasn't Jalen Hurts. Topic, Jalen Carter has rough pro day. Came in 9 pounds overweight and couldn't finish drills due to cramping and heavy breathing. Tone just said, was a rough, if Jalen Carter falls to 10, he could. If Jalen Carter falls to 10, here's what I would say. My interview would matter. Here's what I would do if I was in that Eagle personnel office and I had Jalen Carter on my list of guys to work out and give my report to Howie on, this is what I would say. Watch his tape. He's the best defensive lineman in the last 3 years George has produced. He's a Jerome Brown type player. He's got all the intangibles to make the play on the field at any given moment. He could play in a 3 technique, a 0 technique, a 1 technique, or a shade. There's nothing or anything that this guy can do, and he's better, in my opinion, than Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis may be more of a physical athlete. Jalen Carter's more of a football player. As for his combines, how much do you take into the combines on what a football player is? I didn't know going to Gold's Gym or Muscle Beach was where I got football players from. To me, my conversation with him would matter. And I would also say this. I would think his legal issues probably kept him up at night, probably not focused, rightfully so for a young kid. I would wonder how focused I would be if I knew I had legal issues. A guy died. Did I feel responsible? I'm sure he's a good kid. I start with that. Until I find out he's a dick or a bad kid, I don't come from the other angle on the media people and say the kid's a bad kid. I come from the fact that I don't know. I'm hoping he's a good kid. And if he's been a good teammate and what people have said about him, that's why when you hear guys like Todd McShay talking, how would Todd McShay know about anything about Jalen Carter? What? Somebody from a friend of a friend of a friend said he was a jackass? That's not how I'm going on people. So to me, I need to get a personal relationship. And I've said this to people numerous times, and I'll say it again to you. Joe Madden taught me a lesson a long time ago. I said, Joe, how do you motivate every single one of those guys in the locker room? He goes, you know why? All 24, 25 guys, I've got to have personal relationships with these guys because when I'm being constructive, I do not ever want them to come from an angle that I'm being destructive. I never want them to think I'm being destructive. I'm here to help them become the best player they can. The only way you can help a player become the best player he can become is having a personal relationship with that man. You don't have to be best friends, but you got to know who he is. How can you motivate somebody when you don't know what their likes and dislikes are and you don't know what kind of man they are? People don't want to take that effort to do that. Okay? They don't go the extra mile. And I agree. Who said that? Neil. I would talk to Nakobe and I would talk to Jordan Davis. They ate with him. They were on the road with him. They won games with him. They won national championships with him. And I would get their true assessment. And I would ask them, honestly, what kind of man is he? I don't want to know what kind of football player he is. I see it on tape. It's the only way to get players to play to their highest ability is to know who the kid is. I already see the 20 yards of tape. I told you, there's certain guys that are 20 yards of tape. I don't need to see more than 20 yards. Once I got 20 yards of tape on you, I know who you are. Watching a guy run over bags and watching a guy do wind sprints, I don't know. Give me the tape. Give me the tape. That kid falls to 10 and he's not held any kind of liability. I don't give a shit what he did. But I also want to do this to him. My problem with Jalen Carter is decision-making. Okay? It's decision-making. You're going to be the number one. Do you understand that he was projected to be potentially the number one pick in the draft? And he may fall to 10. I'm not thinking 10 seconds about not taking that guy. I'm not even thinking twice about it. Shit, man, if I'm sitting at 10 and he's at 9, I don't know. And I need to replace Javon Hargrave. And I got 2 guys on rookie contracts. I got to tell you, watch this. Who would you rather pay? Javon, here, one last thing before I take a timeout. Who would you rather pay? Javon Hargrave? Tone, you too, man. Who would you rather pay? Javon Hargrave, $22 million? Or would you rather pay on rookie contracts Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter? One guy 22, the other guy 21. You could have two guys in the middle of your defense for the next 10 years. And you got them on rookie contracts. And somebody you kind of build your team around. Dude, Howie Roseman lands on that guy. We're talking about a good... That changes my opinion. I got to take a timeout. I want to reset everything. Okay? Do me a favor. Let's do this here. Slay tweeted about me? Did he? I'm sure he did. Hour number 3. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messon Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Plan your day with confidence.
Keep the umbrellas on hand.
With Action News and AccuWeather.
Numerous tornadoes.
Your go-to team when severe weather strikes.
The water is still rising.
Keeping you prepared wherever you watch. Action News and AccuWeather, the team you trust.
Big Stills! Shaking them up again, baby. Shaking them up again. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, nobody. I welcome it. Come on in. How you doing? Hey, what's the latest on Gardner-Johnson? Has he taken that hometown discount yet? Has he taken the hometown discount? Okay. Big Sills, Ryan. How you doing? Oh, man. Hold on here. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see here. Hold on here. I'm getting some information on Gardner-Johnson. Hold on. I'm waiting. Oh, big play, Slay. See ya. Going out dissing on Sills. Man, ain't that something? Let me see what. Okay, let me see. Okay, man, I got so much stuff going on here. I heard that Jerry Jeudy's being potentially traded. Seth is saying something to me now. He's like, Sills, what the hell is going on? Slay's upset with you now. Hey, I'm sorry, man. It's all right. Hey, a lot of news. My boy Tone is all over this. God, the NFL news is absolutely huge. It really is. And the Eagles, top 5 teams in the NFC, Niners, Seahawks, Vikings, Eagles, Cowboys, any one of those teams can win the NFC. You know what? See what 420 says? Everyone knows Sills is delusional. Yeah, but they listen. Everybody from Micah Parsons to the head coach of the Eagles. God, who else, right? Right, Yale? All year long. And Darius Slay didn't like the fact that, I told you guys that, he had to redo his contract, and they said no. So he's going out the door. And I've been saying the whole time, he's mad at me because I said the Eagles should move off him. I've been saying it for 3 months. He didn't like it. He didn't like that I said they should move off the $18 million. He's not worth it. Yeah. All right, let's get into a little bit more here. So let me ask you, okay, is it a good thing or bad thing that this Gardner-Johnson deal, the dead cap relative is $26 million, 13 this year, 13 next year. GT says 2 and 4, 4,000 yards. Boom. Super Bowl. Boom. How you doing? So I got 2 of the 3 wrong. So I got 2 of the 3 right. Puts me in the Hall of Fame. Okay? Puts me in the Hall of Fame. How you doing? Okay? His dead cap money is 26. Okay? Sills come back with the mullet. Hey, all right, let me do this here now. Is it a good or bad thing that this thing is taking longer for Gardner-Johnson? Is it good or bad? Did they free the money up for Hurts or for Gardner-Johnson? Who did they free the money up for? Who did they free the money up for? They didn't free the money up for both. Sorry. It's a good thing. No news is good news. No news is good news. Okay. No news is good news. CJ, Hurts already done. Never thought about that. Okay? Never thought about that. Joe says, thank you, Slay. You'll be missed. You're not his $18 million, won't be. They got to pay other people. He sucked in the second half of the season. Didn't think he was really all that good. Especially in the Super Bowl. Guy was torched. I mean, after the Justin Jefferson game, you think he really outplayed Bradbury? And what he didn't like probably was yesterday, I told you exactly. Remember, Tone? I said this to you, right, Tone? The Eagles made it very clear what their priorities were. Bradbury and Gardner-Johnson. They let that dude walk. He wanted a trade. They went like this. Okay. They went, okay. I do too, man. Whew, man. So here are your guys so far missing off the team. Jesus, irony. Marcus Epps, Javon Hargrave, TJ Edwards, Darius No-Play Slay, Kaiser White, Fletcher Cox, and as of 5:17 Eastern Time, no CJ. So you have 7 dudes off your defense as of 5:17. As of 5:17, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 players off your defense. And the most recent one is Darius No-Play Slay. Yeah, it's March 15th. That's right, dude. That's where you build your roster, is March 15th and the last week of April. What do you think, you build it during the September startup of the season? What do you think, you build it in July? You build it now like you did last year. I love when people go like this. It's only March 15th. It's only it's the beginning of building your roster. Your NFL season officially starts today. And what you do today will have ramifications of how you'll play in 2023. And someone goes like this. Drafting? Well, I don't know. So in the last couple first-round picks, Devontae Smith is a win. Andre Dillard and Jalen Reagor have been turds. Okay? Signed Reddick in March. They did. Way to go. Signed Reddick in March. And as of March 15th, you lost Darius No-Play Slay. Oh, man. I didn't get my feelings hurt. I love it. Welcome it in. Dude, I'm the heavyweight champion of the world. I wear the heavyweight belt in sports talk. How you doing? Okay? I wear the heavyweight championship belt. Don't ever have anyone fool you. Why do you think people are crying and moaning every day? Hey, Jacob, can you please get him off? I can't take the truth. They laugh at you. Dan, would you take Mariota? I might listen to Mariota. Okay, I might be. Would you guys be? I might. Mariota on the Eagles. I kind of like that. I agree, Real. They got to sign Gardner-Johnson. I think that is an essential. I think right now, the three most important things are Hurts, Gardner-Johnson, and the draft. Maybe you can go Gardner-Johnson in the draft and kind of flip it any way you want it. But I think those two, I mean, you know. No, heavyweight champion of the world. Give me a pro wishbone quarterback for backup. No, I don't want that. If Philly somehow drafts Jalen Carter or the kid from Pitt in a top 5 corner prospect, I think they'll just be fine. Man, but you're going to a 34, my friend. That means 4 linebackers in an organ. Here, think about this. So the Eagles are going to a D coordinator that believes in a 34 look, right? In an organization that doesn't value the linebacker position. You just let both your star linebackers go. And you had no value to it. And I agree with John McMullen. It just shows you what they think of the linebacker position and the running back position. They don't give a shit. They see it. And you know what, though? To their point, I agree. Am I going to pay $100 million for Roquan Smith? No. I'm not. I'm not paying that. I think that's kind of what the Bears thought. I thought about what I said a little bit there, and I went like this. Do you want to pay Roquan Smith $24 million a year? Or would you rather pay TJ Edwards and another dude, the kid Edmonds, and pay half of that and get kind of the same production? That's another form of Moneyball. That's how Billy Beane, if you ever watched the movie, replaced Jason Giambi. You got 3 dudes to do it. Guys with really great on-base percentage, you know? Yeah, he is a multi-front. He's more of a Ravens look, too. It's kind of 34, 43, 50. But, dude, you got to have a stout nose to be versatile like that. Okay? You got to kind of be stout in there. Two QB. I like Slay, man. I'm sorry to see the guy go. Great character guy. He was an impact player. And by the way, he was never a really great corner because he wasn't a man corner. That's why Matt Patricia moved off him. All they asked him to do in Philadelphia was play center field. At $18 million, he ain't worth it. You're going to pay $18 million to a guy to play center field? And that Jonathan Gannon defense? That's not a man coverage guy. Dude, really great cover corner guys? Cover corner guys are guys that get up in your face and play man coverage and also can drop in a zone and are versatile like that. He was never that. Okay? And by the way, for the record, I thought he was a good player. $18 million? No way. No way. $18 million to play center field. I don't know. And then when you had guys getting home in your front 4, there's a different world there. When you had guys getting home in your front 4. Okay? Hey, man. Okay. Still waiting, man. CJ Gardner negotiating. Which one of these losses on defense will be felt the most? Gardner-Johnson? If so, by the way, Jordan, that's really cool. Would you put McPherson to number 2 corner? Originally, he was supposed to be number 2 before Bradbury arrived. He's been developed. For now, going on year 3, I'm tired of developing players after 1 year. Put them out there. Damn, Jordan. Let me say this to you, Jordan. Year 3, and you don't know he can play? He can't play. I mean, do you think it took 3 years to go like this? Sauce Gardner can play. That's a cover corner guy. Right, Jordan? Jordan, do you really need to see 40 games to go, he's been developing, and he's coming along? It's not like Jalen Hurts. Hurts went like this from the first year starting to bam, and you went, shit. He made you put your head up and go, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff you're hoping that Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis can do for your defense, right? You're looking for a bam year after that not so good year. That's kind of what you're hoping for. Year 3, dude, man, it's time. Hey, watch this. I'll give you a great example of that. You just signed a guy like that. Don't you think after 5 years in Seattle, they kind of knew what Rashad Penny was, and that's why they went into the draft last year and grabbed Walker out of Michigan State? Don't you think they knew what they had? He wasn't going to get any healthier. He wasn't going to be any more consistent than what he is. By the way, I've never said that the guy's not a good player. He just is not available enough. Availability, durability, all part of it. He could never beat out the kid Chris Carson. And when Carson couldn't play anymore because of injuries, they drafted a guy because they didn't trust him. So the Eagles signed a guy who Seattle didn't trust for 5 years. Don't you think you knew what you had? And again, it's a nothing burger and money. So I get it. It's actually $1 million less than what you were paying Miles Sanders. So I get it. It's really, if he fails, if he doesn't, if he gives you anything, great, right? How he comes out of it looking like a star. If he gives you more than 500 yards, watch this. If Rashad Penny gives you more than 500 yards this year or 600 yards, that's a good sign. It's a good sign. If he gives you between 600 and 700 yards, that'll probably be a decent sign. Cowboys could go after Bijan Robinson now. They could. They could go after him. No CJ News Niners. Boy, I don't know. Broncos, Eagles. I don't know the other two. I don't know the other two teams. What do you think the money will be? So let's do this if they're going to have the money for Jalen Hurts. First off, you think it's $50 million? Maybe but Jordan and Neil, you think Duke Tobin and Mike Brown are going to open up the purse strings and pay CJ Gardner-Johnson $14 million? Why wouldn't they have kept Jesse Bates? No way, Neil 40. No way. Gardner-Johnson to the Bay? Jeez. You put Gardner-Johnson in that 49er defense? Holy shit. So you think, no, he's not going to get $18 million as a safety. I think he's going to get 14. So you got 14 and Gardner. You got another 16 in Bradbury. That's 30. You got 15 in Reddick. Then, hold on. And then I got to put a $50 million burger on there. You got 18 million in Lane, 15 million in Jason. That's 33. 15 million in Goddard. 20 million in A.J. Brown. 16 million in Mulata. 74. 74 and 45. That's not. You got $119 million in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. You got $119 million in 8 players. Okay, Bradbury is 14, 117. Got $118 million on a $222 million, $224 million salary cap to fill the spots of another 40 players, 42 players, 43 players, 44 players. The offensive payroll, like Yale just said, it's top heavy. You got 3 guys in your old line. 3 guys in your old line that are making almost $50 million. Oh, wait. 119 million and 8 guys. Now 50. That's $170 million. You got $70 million to fill the other 42 spots on the team. Now, the one caveat to this is that Jalen's contract will kick in 24. That'll be the one caveat here. Okay? That'll be the one deal here. Restructuring Lane. They may have to restructure Lane. You know, but and here's something else. So you're going to restructure all these contracts, and you got so many new faces to replace on defense, and you only have 6 draft choices. You don't get compensation picks this year. You'll get them next year. You got 6 picks, and you have 7 casualties on defense in the starting units already. Not counting Dillard. Not counting, well, you replaced them with Sanders. I mean, Sanders, I guess, with Penny. They'll probably draft a guy too. AJ gets traded next year? No, they'll redo his deal like Stephon Diggs did his deal up in Buffalo. But you know what's going to happen? There's going to be a casualty in the O-line. But remember something too. Kelsey will come off the boards next year. That's $15 million gone. He's on a 1-year contract, 14.45, something like that, right? So Kelsey will come off the books. That'll be a helpful thing towards the Jalen contract, is that his contract will come off the books. They'll restructure the A.J. Brown deal. They'll probably redo the Mulata deal. They may go in there and redo the Hassan Reddick deal too. Again, they've got a lot of bonuses coming up here in 10 days here too to decide on what they're going to do. Got to restructure Hassan Reddick's deal. I guess you're going to have to do that this year. Oh, my God. Cam Jurgens is going to have to play huge this year because you don't have – not that you counted on Dillard, who plays right guard. Who plays right guard for the Eagles this coming year? It's got to be Jurgens, right? And by the way, who's a better – can you imagine – can I tell you this? Okay. So, hey, Tone, check this out. So I'm Cam Jurgens. The guy next to me is going to the Hall of Fame, and the guy on the right side is going to the Hall of Fame. And I got Jeff Stoutland. Dude, I mean, I don't know about you, but if that guy sucks, it won't be because of the Eagles. If that guy is doesn't turn into an all-pro in 2 years, it was the biggest colossal mistake on the planet. I got Jason Kelce on my left side, the guy I'm going to replace eventually. Then on the other side, I got Lane Johnson. Okay, and I got Jeff Stoutland coaching me. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty good about hey, watch this. Sills, how do you feel about Cam Jurgens? Pretty good. Yeah. How do you feel about Cam Jurgens taking over for Isaac Seumalo? I feel pretty positive about that one. Is that fair? Hey, is that fair? Sills, here's a positive for you here. Sills, how do you feel about Cam Jurgens taking over for Isaac Seumalo? Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce, and Jeff Stoutland, pretty solid. I feel pretty good about that kid's future and opportunity to be a star in the NFL. Yeah. Okay. I feel pretty good. And remember, his natural position is going to be sliding over to guard, or over to center once Kelce leads. It's not an upgrade. Seumalo played great. He was a great dude. Seumalo, it's not fair. Hey, guys, you can't just start shitting on guys who you loved. Don't be the Packers. Don't be the Packers. Okay? Slay, thank you very much. Awesome stuff. TJ, thank you. Kaiser, thank you. They won games for you guys. To talk shit on them now is not cool. Javon, thank you. Okay? Miles, thank you. It's all good, dude. It's business. Nothing to get your panties in a bind over. No reason to shit on them. Okay? No reason to shit on them guys. Seumalo has 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. And now it's an upgrade? Come on, man. How do you say Cam Jurgens is an upgrade when you've never seen him play? Dude, come on now. That's not fair and it's not right. Okay? It's just not. Hey, when I make fun of Darius no play Slay, that's all it is. But honestly, he stuck it in Matt Patricia's face, and it was one of the better moves that Howie Roseman made professionally in bringing him over and getting production out of him. That's a great move by Howie. Slay was a really good Eagle, put up productive years, and honestly was a good football player. Okay? He was a good player, man. He's mad at Sills because, Sills said that he should be dealt because I hated his salary. Oh, the Slay, you want to hear something? Okay? I'll say this. Darius Slay and how well he played probably was one of the things that helped Matt Patricia get his exit in Detroit. I mean, ask the general manager in Tennessee how that A.J. Brown deal worked out for him. And he had, and he had great success. Look at what A.J. Hey, you think that general manager had a little bit of issues? Still, Slay is funny. He watches you. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? What, he's going to listen to some of them radio shows in Philly? Well, okay. Tell him how great he is. I know he watches. Dude, wait a minute. Yale, he watches me? They all do. Hey, Darius, this is a note for you, my friend. Tell Tracy Rocker and Jeff Stoutland and Desai, who are Miami Hurricanes, hi from Big Sills. Oh, by the way, that I didn't show you guys this. Hey, Tone, check this out. Look what UM sent me. Look at this. Oh, damn, I can't even. Look at this. Shorts, shirts. Look at them here. Look Look at this. Canes football. Look at all this stuff. Hats. Even got a visor. You know why I wouldn't wear the visor? Reminds me of Spurrier. And those Gator honks. Oh, that's right. Gardner-Johnson and Howie. Okay, are Gator honks. I got to remember that shit. Yeah. Oh, you got a black hat. Nice. And look, you want to know who sent it? Mario Cristobal. Ah, damn. All the Canes gear? Let me guess. Hang on. Let me see what Tone's saying here. Oh man, that's totally a care package. It's about $500 worth of shit. What did Yale say? Yale, Big Sills don't wear Temple shit. Sorry, dude. hey, Yale, no. Yeah, no Temple shit. Sorry, dude. I draw the line there. Dude, no, I draw the line. Oh, man. Okay. Big play, Slay. Yeah, it's all good, man. Hey, Darius, watch this. Good luck to you, man. Good luck to you. Make sure you tell Robert Bailey I said hi. He's my boy. Tell him who Big Sills is. Who knows who he is? He's one of my guys. Robert Bailey's one of my guys. Okay? Make sure you tell him Big Sills said hi. And tell Drew Rosenhaus that the $10,000 in the brown paper bag wasn't enough. Hey, Drew, it wasn't enough. My grandfather said, give it back. My aunt's watching. She's like, it's true. He did. No. Yeah, no. Give that money back. I had to give it back. My grandfather goes, you take something you're going to owe everyone. You know? Lone Shark Sills. Oh, man. Oh, Dav. Don't worry about it. I got to take a time out. No word. I got to find out about CJ. I got to find out what's going on here. No. Dev, it's not that Slay don't know me. Big Sills don't know you. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messon Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messon Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Plan your day with confidence.
Keep the umbrellas on hand.
With Action News and AccuWeather.
Numerous tornadoes.
Your go-to team when severe weather strikes.
The water is still rising.
Keeping you prepared wherever you watch. Action News and AccuWeather, the team you trust.
Yeah, Tone, I love you, man. Big Sills National Football Show. Tone's like, hey, Big Sills, if you take the brown paper bag, dude, you know, you're going to be in the basement and you're going to be doing this. I could have been a contender. I could have been a contender. Or I could be washing dishes like Spider Rico, like Tone says. I like Spider Rico, man. Who would you fight, Sills? Spider Rico. That bum! You think everybody I fight makes a bum, ain't they? Spider Rico. That's who Rashad Penny is. Spider Rico. He's Rudy. Oh, man. How you doing? Hey, Eagle guys. What's up, man? How come there's so many exits? The guy's making all this money. Jesus, criminy. Hey, Darius. This is just for you. You played really well as an Eagle. All kidding aside. But oh, how he made you feel what you really were. Okay? See how he could be an asshole too. A Pro Bowl corner who was on many All-Pro teams. Howie must have had this in the back of his mind 3 months ago. He was moving off him. Hey, we're going to demand a trade. Okay. We were going to move you anyway. Ooh. You were never a priority. Gardner-Johnson and Bradbury were. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's part of the game. Watch this. Darius Slay, did he have a Pro Bowl year? Yes. Was he an All-Pro? Not really. The other guy on the other side was better. He's a good player, though. He's going to help a team. Absolutely. If the Eagles were anything, they would maybe try to, now he's, I don't know why would you burn a bridge with a guy like that you could potentially bring back? But then again, you're not going to go back on cheaper money. Okay? Slay will never get $18 million. But I think what'll happen for him, he'll be in Bradbury's boat. You know what? To me, if I were Darius Slay, I'd go to Washington, New York, or Dallas and play the Eagles. That's what I would do. You want to get back at someone? You know how you get back at them? You don't get back at them at social media. You get back at them with your play on the field. That's what Bradbury did. James Bradbury got back at people on the football field, not on social media. That's how you get back at them. Okay? Slay will probably sign a 1-year deal. Miami may be in the conversation because Drew's got a really great relationship down there with them dudes. Hey, it doesn't shock. Guys, it doesn't shock me. Browns could be something too, Maniac. That could be Andrew Berry dropping some love on him. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Hey, all kidding aside, he was a really great Eagle. What was he here? 3 years? He was a really great Eagle, man. Played great. All pro. Dude, he had an all pro year in there, a Pro Bowl year. I don't know. I mean, he was one of Howie Roseman's better free agent deals that he's had as general manager. He's a great player, man. He really was. Hey, watch how he re-sign him. I don't know, man. I think there's some damage done there, but from what I'm seeing, he's still showing a lot of love to Philly. I don't know how that dynamic would work now that you've released him, what the thing would be after June 1. I don't know how that dynamic would work. You know, if they could go back and renegotiate a contract. I mean, why wouldn't they have done it yesterday? You know, that's right, Yale. In a business like football, don't burn any bridges like that. Dude, remember something. I learned this lesson the hard way. When you get fired from a place, don't go out swinging. Go out thanking, even if it's not true, because your next employer is watching you. Always remember that. Your emotions get the best of you. They always got the best of me. I'm swinging and talking shit, and it's never beneficial. So if you get fired, even if you hate it, go out with the notion that the next guy is watching you. Your next employer is watching you and how you react under adversity. Dude, everybody's great when you're making a lot of money, ratings are high, you're doing super shit. But when people really have a little adversity in their life and that hits them in the face, people want to know how you act then. Are you going to talk shit on me out the door too? Fly, I didn't say be happy. I just said, don't ever show anybody your cards. That's right, Yale. Jalen Hurts is going to get paid on how he handles himself too, versus how Carson Wentz didn't handle himself. Jalen Hurts, did he ever bitch about being a second-round pick? Probably thought in his mind he was a first-round draft choice the whole time. Look at Brady. Every draft, every single, for what, the last 22 years? How many times has Tom Brady posted that Ichabod Crane picture of him at the combines looking with that horrible body? Hey, this could be you. You don't think he had a lumberyard on his shoulder the entire time? Right? That's right, King. That's a great example again. Fletcher Cox was cut or released. Next day, they signed him to a $14.4 million deal, dropped him from the $18 million. Okay? See, Charlie goes like this, Dan, enjoyed, fun show. You know what? Because Charlie gets it. There's nothing here to get your panties in a bind over. By the way, let's be candid here, and this is for everyone. I think the Eagles have taken a pretty significant step back, especially on defense. But I think the NFC has taken a bigger step back. So that kind of keeps you in the room and softens the blow with all these losses. Gardner-Johnson would help. Hey, and like I said, the signing or having back Jason Kelce and James Bradbury, that's a good day, man. The loss of Aaron Rodgers in the NFC, I think that's a big deal. Okay? I think that's a big deal. Because look, is Hurts the best quarterback now in the NFC? Would you take anyone over Jalen Hurts in the NFC right now? Okay? Yeah, Eagles, because you don't have a defense. I think it's a smart move. If the Miami Dolphins picked up Tua's fifth-year option, what's their other option? What's their other option? Who's out there? And they must be out of the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. Okay. Yeah, $18 million. So get this. He makes less than A.J. Brown. Is it worth it at quarterback to have a guy who threw for almost 500 yards last year? Yeah. Yeah. That Hargrave deal, man, I'm telling you guys, I'm not giving a guy $22 million to play defensive tackle for me unless he's Aaron Donald. And he gets me 22 sacks a year. 11 sacks is a big deal. And I agree with Seth. That's a big number. But, dude, $22 million for a guy that's decent against the run and 11 sacks, and it was a career year. I don't know. A lot of these guys had career years. TJ Edwards had a career year. Shit, Kaiser White had a career year. Gardner-Johnson had a career year. Okay? I think Hargrave is going to hurt a little bit. As you get Jalen Carter in there, I think you're talking about I think you're doing good things there. Okay? I do. Hey, just to show you how some guys it's not going well for, look at Orlando Brown. Remember I told you a couple weeks ago, Orlando Brown is going to hit the open market, and this guy thinks he's Trent Williams or Lane Johnson or shit. He's not Jordan Mailata. And this guy wants to get paid $25 million a year. There ain't a team out there that's offering anything near that. His market value has cratered. Has cratered. Now, is he a good player? Yes. But I think there's going to be an upgrade in Kansas City by the guy that they're going to sign with the Jags. I think that guy's an upgrade. I think Orlando Brown is long in the tooth. I think he's long in the tooth. So Jadeveon Clowney, I guess you guys are saying, has been released. Is that correct, Tom? Jadeveon Clowney never lived up. You talk about another guy who never lived up. Was he the number one overall pick? In his entire NFL career, Jadeveon Clowney never had double-digit sacks, ever. Do you know that the guy you have in Philadelphia now has 4 seasons of double-digit sacks? Jadeveon Clowney was never – was he a first-round pick? Probably because he's a starter. Okay? But he was never – going to be somebody like a Javon Curse. He was never. Clowney was the number one pick overall. And I've said this before about Clowney. You see a really great poster to a motion picture, and you're like, man, look at the attractions. Look at the buildup for this movie. You go to the movie, and it sucks. It's kind of Clowney. That's kind of who he was. He's known for 2 things, the hit in the Outback Bowl and the cheap shot on Wentz. Other than that, shit, Chandler Jones was a better player. Chandler Jones was a better football player. All right, so we have heard nothing. But I'm going to tell you this. These next 2 days are going to be... Now, this is when Howie's in the building, right? Brandon Graham has more sacks than Jadeveon Clowney. Wow, that's fantastic to say. Career sack. That's fantastic. Good for him. So keep an eye. By the way, you want to contact me, you can go over to my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. Whew. Let's see what Howie does. Hey, but they did sign Boston Scott today. Hey, all good, man. Wow, free agency is a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you so much. Thursday and Friday, we'll get back to getting a guest in here. We'll get their thoughts on free agency. I'll figure somebody out tomorrow. Thank you guys again. Tone, you're spectacular. You do a great job. You kept us updated the entire time. Xander, Big Joe, thank you guys for having us here again once again. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and we shall see you on the flip side.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.